Just confirmed on the show. Stay tuned. We're going to get Doug Lockwood on. He's the promoter out at Merced. We'll talk to him. And also just confirmed, Steve Post is going to join us towards the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. The Postman will be on with the RacinBoys here in just a little bit. But right now, it's all about Lee Spencer, RacinBoys' own. Lee, how you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing all right. All right. So, first of all, NASCAR comes out and they say that they're going to run the races without any fans in the stands. I'm cool with that. I think, all right, that's good. At least people get to watch the races. It'll drive up the numbers. There's some good out of that. But then they chose to change their mind and not run the races at all. What came into play? Were they just following the leader of others, or what, Lee? Tell us how that all went down.
I think it's a matter of, if you look at it from the standpoint of like EMTs and such that can't get, if there are people that really need help and they can't get to those people because they're at a racetrack. I mean, to me, that makes no sense. And so I think they had to decide, what was best for everybody. And, moving people around and things of that nature, it was, kind of nuts. And so, I think they made the best decision for everybody involved, because when you get in big groups of people like that, it's hard not to, to transfer stuff in the air, disease. I won't say disease necessarily, but, germs and stuff in the air. So I think that they made the decision that they thought was best for everybody involved.
Yeah. I didn't quite think about it that way, Kirk. Ambulances, how important they are to serve the people that really need them during this time. And, we had a great time when we were out in California, and none better than what we had out at Merced. And joining us now is Doug Lockwood, who is the promoter of Merced. Doug, how you doing, my friend? You doing well?
Yeah,
it's early out there.
A little early.
Yeah. What are you doing up so early out there?
It's kind of hard to sleep right now.
Yeah, I get that. I saw the press release out after talking to the local officials. You guys had made the decision not to race as well. Let's talk about your area and what this means. I mean, it's this way across the country, right? It's affecting everybody in every city, every place, every pocket of the country. But there's a lot of attention on that area up there, right, when it comes to the coronavirus. How's this affecting your business? And just give us an overall take of the feel about the coronavirus up there around Merced.
Well, so I did a lot of research on Wednesday. That's the first day the governor here put out the press release, basically saying that they didn't want any gatherings larger than 250 people, but it was basically just a recommendation at that point in time. So you start doing your work and looking up stuff and trying to figure out,
the due diligence. Going on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that was across the state. Well, then you read, Tulare comes out. Well, they got a call from their health department that their county is shut down, like with whatever they got going on over there, and then next thing you know, Hanford gets told the same thing from their county because they got a couple of cases in their counties. Here in Merced County, we have 0 cases so far. So I go to the health department on Thursday, and, I go and ask them, hey, what's going on? What do I need to do? What is our process here? And about the time I went down there in the afternoon, the governor changed the suggested to a directive, that he's basically dictating anyone with events over 250 people must be canceled. Mm-hmm. And then at that time, it kind of just was like dominoes. Everyone just kind of, canceling. And I had a little help from the weather. It's supposed to rain here today, so we just went ahead and canceled. We are dark for next week, and then we're more than likely going to have to cancel the 28th because the governor's thing is through the end of the month.
Yeah. How this is the time of the year when you make your hay, right? I mean, seriously, everybody wants to start off their season with a bang. It's important right now, this time of the season, to have good nights. How does this affect your business model in the end, Doug?
Right now, luckily we got in your guys' race last weekend, which went very well for us in California. Big crowd, big car count, great racing. It helps that we got that first one in. Helps us kind of sustain March. We have a huge month in April, Emmer said, and it's kind of just a waiting game right now. This stop right now in March doesn't, looking at the weather, it's kind of came at a time where we were going to get rained out anyways. So it's kind of helping us. But if it goes into April, May, there's some places have said, this is month long. This isn't short, and I'm like, man, I really hope it is short, and we can figure it out, and get back to it, because there's going to be a lot of damage if it does go on for months for a lot of people, in jobs and everything.
We still got Trenton Berry, Steve Post coming up, but I wanted to get a hold of Pete Howey out at Lakeside Speedway. So on the hotline now, the Lucas Oil Products hotline, is Pete Howey. Pete, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. So is this coronavirus got you freaked out a little bit?
Well, it's everyone needs to be concerned about it. And, whether you think they're doing the right thing by postponing stuff and not having stuff, it's probably a good idea to keep it from spreading. Is it going to affect us? We're a month out. So, maybe it's going to affect us. Maybe it's not.
Yeah. Right now, there's no call on anything right now, obviously, because April 9th is kind of the date everybody's using, right?
Correct. I know the mayor of KCK did the state of emergency and, kind of discouraging big group activities for now.
Yeah.
Most everybody else, like you said, about April 9th, a couple weeks, 20 days, just to kind of see where the status is.
If anybody's really concerned about this, it would have to be you guys, because you've had to deal with the flooding issues and whatnot.
Yeah, what a horrible way to start the season,
right?
If it affects us. Because of course, that threat of flooding still looms over us as well.
Right.
So it got kind of a double whammy over our heads right now. But Bunny, myself, the guys, we're pushing forward every day like we're going to open. So that's the attitude we're keeping. That's what we're going to keep doing.
That's all you can do. Yeah. I tell people this about rainouts, and Kirk and I are the same way about this. It's like on a rainout. People says, is it going to rain? I don't know. When it rains and they rain it out, then I'll go home. I don't worry about it, because you can't waste a lot of energy worrying about stuff like that.
You can't worry about it. You'd make yourself crazy.
Right.
And the fans would get crazy worrying every day. Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And if you just keep charging forward in life, and then, when that hiccup comes, deal with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the flooding, you've been doing a lot of work out there. Tell us what's going on out there to try to mitigate this.
Well, a lot of people don't understand those levees out there have been privatized. So it's kind of up to us, the collective landowners out there, to keep them up and maintain them under the guidance of the government and the Corps. And that main levee break over there that was by the grain elevator, it has started to get the rebuild process. Probably will not be done for another month. Then there's the other two on, I guess you'd call it, the south and east end of that area, and they have not been started yet.
Mm. That probably leads to a little concern, doesn't it?
It's a little concern. When you get back up north, you get back to that Gavin's Point area.
Mm-hmm.
They're letting out less water than they did, let's say, 3 weeks ago, but it's still more than what they were letting out last year, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
And right now, the river level, of course, they They monitor that river right at the 435 bridge, just adjacent to the property of ours. And right now we're at 16 feet. You're talking 19 feet lower than it was a year ago today.
Oh, wow, that's good.
And we want to point out the video you're seeing. That's from last year. That's
Right. Yeah, we're showing videos. We talked to you of Lakeside underwater.
Okay.
So
yeah, we are. We're saturated because of the rain right now, but nothing that is not typical of mid-March, if you will.
Right.
So the river, as long as everything kind of stays the way it's been staying, we still have like 7 feet of river rise before it's even going to start coming through those breaches.
Steve Post, the postman, joins us now. How you doing, Steve?
Gentlemen, I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing good. Did you do your 5K? Is that today or tomorrow?
I don't know. I've lost track. I was supposed to do a deal. What are we? We're Saturday morning. I don't even know what day it is.
Right.
This week has been. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to be in Syracuse, New York, doing an indoor show, indoor TQ races.
I saw your video.
Flew up there on Thursday night, literally pulling into the hotel, parked the car at the hotel, looked down, my phone was ringing. It was the guy that I work for, and I knew, you just kind of know what's coming, you know?
Right.
So I literally am in Syracuse, New York on Thursday night. Of course, I bought the cheapest airline ticket, which they don't do refunds. They don't change anything, but United did with the coronavirus. And so I turned around and landed and rolled into home this morning at 1:30. I think I'm in Concord, North Carolina. I think it's Saturday morning, and the 5K I was going to do is in Syracuse, New York, so I'm not going to do that.
What did you had? You weren't going to be at Atlanta this weekend anyway, right? So.
No, it was going to be a PRN has the Cup and the Xfinity Series. MRN did have the Truck Series, but I wasn't on that deal. So, but our crew got down there, and then this was a moving target for NASCAR as well, as I'm sure you guys have talked about. And I know Lee obviously has been covering for you guys. We went from all systems go to Friday night and Saturday afternoon to all systems stop in about a 12-hour period. So. Quite the process, and I know. Like one of our guys, Mike Bagley, he lives down in the Miami or Fort Lauderdale area. He had trouble getting home. He finally got home late last night. We were texting each other our woes from various airports across the country.
Hey, what do you think the? Listen, I think NASCAR, they'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
But I'm more worried about the grassroots tracks, and I know that's where our passion is. We love dirt track racing, short track racing. And my biggest concern is what this is going to do to our industry in the short track side of things. What are your thoughts there?
I have the same concern, and of course we're early in the process, and I kind of I was listening to you guys just a little bit, and I agree with Kirk said that if we get aggressive right now and change a little bit of what we do, I guess the cool phrase is social distancing, that maybe we can minimize the damage. And when I think about minimizing the damage, it's minimizing the time. You just had the guy there from Lakeside Speedway. We don't know what the world is going to look like April 17th when their season opener is. Are we still going to be on lockdown, or do we go on lockdown for a couple of weeks and things seem to progress and pick up? So it's unknown, but I think the concern that I share with you, Scott, is the short track business is very fragile.
Right.
The line between red ink and black ink is there's not much wiggle room. These promoters that run these racetracks, they don't get a lot of black ink on the bottom line ledger nights, and so you minimize and you eliminate some nights, or you throw a variable in there where people don't want to go out to the racetrack because of this. And I agree with you. I think there's some short track areas that remain very, very solid, but I think the majority of short tracks are in this fragile state, and I am concerned about it. Just not knowing how long this is going to go on, but I am concerned about it for sure.
I think we're just about ready to go to Trenton Berry, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm bringing up the RacinDirt.com right now.
All right, let's bring him on. TB Trenton Berry joining us here on Track Talk. You know his website, RacinDirt.com. Hey, TB.
Hey, I'm good, guys. You doing all right?
Well,
Well,
we're hanging in, man. We're just hanging in.
You know, we don't want to get wrapped up too much in all this coronavirus stuff, but, you know, let's face it, man. This is a little scary for the grassroots community right now, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, great timing, too, by the way, for it.
Start of the season.
But, yeah, I don't really know. I've watched a lot of TV the last couple of days, and I finally just had to shut it off and go do something else. You know,
It's worked Kirk Elliott
It's a strange time.
It's worked Kirk Elliott nearly into a frenzy.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
He come over yesterday. The world has changed in the last 2 days.
well, it has. It has changed.
It's
world
the,
is- I
mean,
the,
there's
the
a-
world's coming to an end.
There's a lot that has changed, and I don't. You know, when you looked at what the stock market did, and thankfully yesterday when Trump made the statement yesterday afternoon, and they were going to free up all that money, the stock market
Kind of rallied a little.
Yeah, it kind of rallied a little bit late.
I'm not a big investor in the stock market, though, so that it doesn't really affect me. But I know.
Sure, but as an indicator of the overall health of the economy, and
No, I get it.
One of the first things that we see to go is
Right.
scared money isn't going to spend money. So
No doubt, for sure.
we certainly don't need those red flags up. Even if it doesn't directly affect you or I or whatever. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, we should have been at the battle at the bull ring this week. As a matter of fact, I was at Humboldt Tuesday night when it rained and they canceled. And, looking back on it, it was probably a blessing that the weather was so wet. We didn't know that really all hell was going to break loose in the next 2 days. So
Hey, let me ask you.
I don't really know how to process this and everything that's going on.
Did you see what Silver Dollar Speedway did last night? Speed Shift did a
I did,
broadcast.
yeah.
And they let 250 people in. They spread them out, and they ran the race.
To be totally honest and pull the curtain back a little bit, 2 nights ago, Stick and I spent about an hour on the phone with Ryan Whitworth and Todd Staley, talking about possible scenarios for the King of America now that that's coming up next week. It's, by the way, only our biggest race of the year.
Right.
So we're discussing things and hadn't heard any crowd limitation sizes and things at that time, but talked through a bunch of possible scenarios. And I don't ever want to be one of those he gotcha guys, but I've had it about up to my eyeballs with all the old school people saying that online is going to be the death of racing, and it might very well be what saves it out of this. So I don't know.